Hello everyone, how are you today? This is Marta. Welcome back. I am super thankful and happy. My friends, my video clip which I posted on the Facebook got 12,500, nearly 12,500 views within one day. Thank you so much everyone who's supporting me over there. Obviously I'm running my Facebook account far longer than the YouTube channel, so it is growing a little bit faster now, but I'm super excited, and today I'm coming with another video which I've decided to post on a YouTube and Facebook as well. It's gonna be shortened version over there, and I'm gonna be making a use from those flower punches I've made. And oh my world, my friends, I just went overboard and I've just punched like 1,000 of them. So I need to come up with some ideas to use them up. And today I'm going to be creating a flower box. This is a great idea to get rid of those little flowers and create something which will be a nice gift. You can create a little like a gift pocket or a card message through the back, but this will be a really lovely idea for all type of the celebrations. Now I am creating the same base as for the shadow box, and you can see more detailed shadow box on my blog hop video where I was walking you a little bit slower step by step. But just to let you know, I am doing a 5 scoring lines from each side. The paper I took was 12 by 12 inches. I've placed it on my scoring board, and then I'm making 5 lines from each side, and then I'm cutting a little pattern through the corner where I go 2 squares up, starting from the most outside line, 2 line up, then on the angle, then 1 up, and then I'm switching to another side of this corner, and then again 2 up, 1 on the angle, and 1 up. And I will post I will link it down below, because I do have the article on the craft world which I've made ages ago, but I do have the drawing. If anyone needs a little bit more visual template on how to do it, definitely check the description, and I will give you the link to the article. Now, just to let you know, the scoring line I've made every 5/8 of the inches. So usually I'm sticking to either 1 inch or half an inch, which is very easy. Then you do half, 1 inch, 1.5, 2, and 2.5. But I wanted to have my frame a little bit higher because I wasn't sure how much dimension those flowers will take, because I'm planning to add the pearls into every single one of them. So I just want to make sure I have enough space so they're not going to be touching up the acetate. I want to cover them up front. So I'm going to be creating something in the form of the shaker box, but the only difference is that all the elements, they're going to be like glued to the back side of the shadow box, so they're not going to be like moving. But I think it gives this beautiful idea that you give the flower box to someone as a gift, and then if you like, you can place the wishes on the back side or create a little pocket to put some gift card or something. But I really think this is a lovely idea. Plus, having those flowers cover up in this frame, you can see you've got this shadow box frame all 4 sides. It makes it much easier to send it through the postage. It will go as a large letter, but then you have this kind of a protection over your flowers, so they're not gonna get squished in the postal. So here you can see I'm doing exactly what I did on the other card. I'm just slightly shaping those punched flowers, and I'm adding a pearl into center, and then I'm just gluing them inside. And there is no any like pattern or anything. I'm just like free flowing just as I go, a little bit here, a little bit there. All I'm really paying attention is that some of the flowers are lighter, some of them are darker, and I'm just trying to make a nice mixture which will be like visually appealing. But there's a few ways you can do it. You can either do like mix them up in between the colors, or I also think what will be looking really lovely is that if you will go with the ombre effect and create like a this as you go down, you can glue the darker and more darker flowers on the bottom and lighter on the top. Or you could do a little mix up, like let's say take like a yellowish and pink and a little bit maybe like a salmon peachy color, and try to create the ombre with those one. So this is something definitely idea for you to play and use up your scraps, because if you have those little pieces of the paper, you don't know what to do with them, you can just take a punches if you have any flower punch, or it doesn't have to be flower. The only one you can use the circles, or you can use some other elements. It's just something I would recommend to go with the punch rather than dice, because if you imagine yourself, if you have to run your die cutting machine like 100 times to create those elements, you're gonna get crazy. So that's why I've used punches. Here I am creating the top cover for my box, and I am deciding which die I want to cut so I could have this lovely aperture, because as I've mentioned, I'm going to be creating something in a shape of the shaker. So I'm going to have the acetate, but first I need to cut my aperture, and for that I'm using this beautiful dies I have from Card Making Magic. I don't know whether these ones are still available or they are retired by now, but I will check it, and then if not, I will link you with some other alternatives. So here you could see the box on the left upper corner and how I filled those composition. I didn't go exactly right up to the edges because I knew I'm gonna have this circle cut, so I was just trying to have enough so the flowers will be nicely displayed and there will be no like empty patches on the sides, but then I don't have to do the full box because they will be covered. So here you can see how lovely it looks with the acetate. I'm gonna be creating a little smaller aperture actually, because I wanted to add some couple extra elements using the same die set, which has this beautiful, most delicate frame, which I really love. And I don't want to everything be so monochromatic, like only blue color. I wanted to brighten up this box a little bit, so for that I am bringing over a piece of the white cardstock, and then I'm not doing any measurements. I am just eyeballing it, and I don't want to give you any specific measurements that you have to cut the square 15 by 15 centimeters. And the main reason for that is, like, see, I am embossing this white piece, and once you emboss your paper, it sometimes tends to shrink. So if I will give you measurement 15 by 15 and then you're gonna be embossing it, you're gonna be end up with a piece which has 15 by 14 and 7 millimeter, and this could ruin your project because it's gonna be all wonky. So what I really recommend you is to take a piece of the pencil, and every time you place your paper, just mark it, just make those lines, and this way you can regulate if you're like mats and layers, how thick frame you want to have. Like I'm gonna be adding the silver layer to underneath my white piece, and for that I can decide whether I want to have this silver showing like a thicker frame or no. And here I am just grabbing this piece of the scrap paper. And as you can see, I already had the die cut pieces cutted out from this paper, but it does not matter. I'm gonna be using this aperture anyway, so this is a great idea to use up all this like extra cutouts without grabbing a new pieces of paper. Obviously I grabbed a new piece of paper for my shadow box frame because I needed to have a piece 12 by 12 inches, but beside of that, I'm trying to use up what I have in my scrap drawer, what is available for me to play with the scraps rather than grabbing a new papers. So here, as I've mentioned, I create this little silver frame, which I think it goes really, really nicely with this decorative frame I have in the center. So we're keeping a balance between the silver elements. That way I think the card is more visually appealing when you have not just one frame, but you kind of repeat the same color. It's like with adding the ink to your elements. If you're creating this like a vintage vibe and you start like, you know, adding the brown ink to your flowers, to your paper, like all the area. So I'm trying to do the same whenever I'm playing with the silver or gold cardstock. I'm always trying to add like 2-3 elements so it will go really nicely together. Now, to glue my acetate, I am just using the double-sided tape. And then I am just adding, some places I'm adding a drop of the liquid glue. This is a regular PVA glue, just to help it bound it forever. And this also gives me a little room to wiggle, so making sure all the frame and everything is positioned the right way. And then once I have this box glued, I took a couple minutes break. Well, that was more than a couple minutes because it was early morning when I started recording. Then I placed my son, take him to his nursery, and then I'm coming back to finish this card. And one of my favorite ways to finish those frames or apertures is to use those twisted cords. And those cords, this is like a upholstery string, so this is something which they use when they sew the curtains or like some furniture elements, and I just love them. They are absolutely fantastic. They instantly give that pop of texture, dimension, and some interest to the card, and they are very inexpensive. So if you're gonna be in any sewing store, just definitely check them out. The one I have, it's 4.5 millimeter thick, but they are a lot more thicker and thinner, but this is the one which I really like to use. I am finishing off my box with this little bow from the string, and I'm adding one flower which will match perfectly with the theme of the flower which I have inside. And then I'm gonna need some sentiment. Now, my friends, this is the box which I'm planning to put on a sale, and this is a tip for everyone who are selling your own personalized cards and project. Unless you are willing to do another one, don't attach your sentiment permanently. You will get a lot more use, and the box will be a lot more likely to sell if you will leave it open finish. And what I mean by that, don't attach the sentiment permanently. You will see in a minute my trick for doing that. I have some sort of a sentiment because this complete the card, and this give the potential buyer and the more visual impression that the card is finished and how the project will look like. But when I'm gonna be putting this box on a sale, I will advertise it for many occasions. I've choose this sentiment which says happy anniversary, but I could easily switch it to happy birthday, congratulations, it's a boy. So many things you can do with ready-made project. But if I will glue this sentiment, this will be just it. And here's my trick. I'm gonna attach the removable dots and place my sentiment, and then once someone will buy the product, I can then change it and added personalization according to what's the occasion's gonna be. Last more thing, never ever attach sentiment to your acetate with the hot glue because you're gonna ruin it. So here you can see there's a close-up look. And one more thing, I have couple announcements for you, my friends. Now, first and foremost, I would like to invite you to my Drop of Inspiration group, which is on the Facebook. Tomorrow I will have this live classes where I will have some free downloadable papers for you. Here you can have a sneak peek. I have this a little, I would not say competition, but everyone who's leaving the comment, I will choose the most popular and turn them to the labels. Lastly, I have Digital Sunday Live coming this live. All the links, information are down below there. Thank you so very much for watching. I wish you all a fabulous day. Bye bye.